I'd like to show you today why it's important not to cut the baby's umbilical cord too early. A very common procedure is to cut the cord within 30 seconds after birth. But as I can show you here, there's good reason to wait for at least 2 minutes, if not waiting until the cord stops pulsating. So here's our fetal-placental unit. When the baby is born, of course, the placenta is still inside. There is baby's blood in the baby's body, but also out in the placenta. And over the course of a few minutes, the placenta will drain to the baby. There will also be a little bit of back and forth, but the net effect is that the placental blood will get to the baby. All this blood belongs to the baby. So now, this is the volume of blood that is shared between the baby and the placenta at birth. This is about 450 milliliters that is shared between the baby's body and the placenta at birth. And so if this is the total amount, this represents the amount of blood in the baby's body, and these are actual amounts as calibrated for an average sized baby. So this is about the amount of blood that a baby would have in its body at birth, about 300 milliliters of the 450 total. And then this represents the amount of blood that is remaining in the placenta after birth and that will transfer to the baby over the course of 2 to 5 minutes. Now, I think it's pretty clear that if you cut the cord immediately after the baby is born, the baby is shy about 1/3 of its total blood volume. And if we leave it intact, what happens is, and I have to take the covers off here, but gradually over time, the blood that is out in the placenta will transfer to the baby. And it takes a while. The studies tell us that in 2 minutes, about 70% of the baby's blood will have transferred. The placental blood will have transferred to the baby. But if we wait till the cord has stopped pulsating, all the blood that can get to the baby will have done so. So the most favorable thing to do would be to wait. And even in cases where babies have to be resuscitated, or if they have meconium aspiration, the usual practice is to cut the cord and remove the baby to an area where the baby can be treated for the condition. Many people now are suggesting that the cord remain intact even if the baby needs resuscitation, and the resuscitation procedures would take place with the baby next to the mother. Now, the last couple of questions: is there any harm to waiting? And many people have believed for a long time that a baby is more likely to develop jaundice if that component of its blood, that one-third of its blood, gets into its body. The added red blood cells, they believe, will break down and cause so much bilirubin that the baby will develop jaundice. But the studies, especially by Hutton, her systematic review, have shown us that even though bilirubin levels are somewhat higher, they do not reach clinical jaundice levels, even if we leave the cord intact. And the other thing is the big question of how much oxygen the baby actually gets while the cord is still intact. And we do know that babies that if the cord is intact, the baby is continuing to get blood supply from the placenta, there is more time for resuscitation because the baby is benefiting from the oxygenated blood that's returning from the placenta. So I hope that's convincing, and that you can give a strong opinion to your care provider about waiting until the cord stops pulsating, or at least for 2 minutes before clamping and cutting the cord. Thank you.